In life, people keep pushing, keep grinding, keep trying so hard to make things happen. And that's good. Hard work is good, but sometimes you're trying so hard, you're forcing it, you're chasing something so much, you don't even realize you're running in circles. You ever see a river struggle to flow? You ever see the sun fight to rise? No, because the river knows where it's going. The sun knows its job. They don't panic. They don't beg. They just do what they were meant to do. Some of you are out here thinking if you just push harder, if you just stress more, if you just grind yourself into the ground, then maybe, just maybe, you'll get what you want. But let me tell you something. Forcing it ain't faith. Struggle doesn't mean progress. You can pull and push all you want, but if you're not aligned with what's meant for you, it won't come. Success isn't about chasing, it's about attracting. It's about preparation meeting opportunity. You prepare yourself, you do the work, and then you let it come. You stop chasing and you start becoming. And when you become the right things, the right people, the right doors, they open. Not because you begged, not because you burned yourself out, but because you were ready. So stop forcing, stop trying so hard, trust, work, become, and let what's meant for you find you. Hard work is valuable, but forcing things can be counterproductive. Trying too hard can sometimes mean running in circles instead of making real progress. Nature doesn't struggle, neither should you. Just like a river flows naturally and the sun rises effortlessly, success comes when you align with your purpose instead of forcing outcomes. Struggle doesn't always mean progress. Pushing harder doesn't guarantee results. If something isn't meant for you, forcing it won't change that. Success is about attraction, not chasing. Instead of constantly chasing opportunities, focus on becoming the person who naturally attracts them. Preparation is the key to opportunity. When you do the work, stay patient, and trust the process, the right opportunities will come at the right time. Trust, work, and become. Instead of burning yourself out trying to control everything, trust in the process, do your part, and let things fall into place as they should. People grow up hearing that hard work is the key to success. And that's true to a point. Hard work builds discipline. It sharpens your skills and it creates opportunities. But there's a difference between working hard and forcing something that isn't meant to be. A lot of people out here are exhausting themselves, thinking that if they just grind harder, if they just push with everything they've got, then things will finally fall into place. But life doesn't always work like that. Sometimes trying too hard isn't a sign of determination, it's a sign that you're going against the flow. Think about it. You ever see someone trying to open a locked door, yanking the handle, pushing with all their might, frustrated because it won't budge? Meanwhile, another door right next to them is wide open. That's how life works sometimes. When you put in the effort, when you show up and do the work, doors will open, but not always the ones you expected. And the mistake too many people make is banging on the wrong door, ignoring the one that's waiting for them. There's a fine line between persistence and forcing something that isn't right. You don't have to prove how bad you want it by wearing yourself out. You don't have to sacrifice your peace to get ahead. Success isn't about suffering more than everyone else. It's about working smart, about understanding where your energy is best used. If you keep pushing and pushing, but all you're feeling is frustration, exhaustion, and self-doubt, that's not a sign to push harder. That's a sign to step back, to reassess, to trust that maybe the path you're trying so hard to force isn't the one meant for you. People who succeed don't just work hard. They work in alignment. They don't force things. They prepare. They stay consistent. They stay ready so that when the right moment comes, they can step into it with confidence. The truth is, the things that are truly meant for you don't require you to break yourself to get them. Yes, they require effort, patience, and dedication, but they don't require desperation. So if you find yourself trying too hard, ask yourself, am I moving forward or am I just running in place? Look at nature. A river doesn't force its way through a mountain, it flows around it. The sun doesn't fight to rise every morning, it just does. The trees don't rush to grow, they take their time, standing tall when the season is right. Everything in nature moves with a rhythm, a flow, a balance. It doesn't mean there's no effort. Of course there is. The river keeps moving, the sun keeps shining, the trees keep growing, but they do it naturally, without struggle, without desperation. Now look at how people move through life. Always rushing, always forcing, always pushing so hard that they forget to trust the process. They think if they don't grind every second, if they don't stress, if they don't fight for every inch, then they're not doing enough. But that's not how success works. You don't see greatness in nature struggling against itself, and you shouldn't either. It's not about being lazy. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. No, it's about moving with purpose. It's about understanding that when you do what you're meant to do, when you work, when you prepare, when you stay consistent, the right things will come in their own time. It doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it means you don't have to force what's not meant to be forced. People waste so much energy chasing, forcing, and fighting against the flow of life. They ignore the signs telling them to shift, to adjust, to let go. They want to control everything, make things happen on their timeline, in their way. But control is an illusion. The most successful people aren't the ones who fight against life. They're the ones who learn how to move with it. There's a reason why forcing something never feels right. That tension, that stress, that exhaustion. It's a sign that you're pushing in the wrong direction, a sign that you're not trusting yourself, not trusting the process, not trusting that what's truly meant for you won't require you to break yourself to have it. So, take a lesson from the river. Take a lesson from the sun. Move with intention, with confidence, but without force. Because when you're in alignment, when you're flowing in the right direction, things start to happen naturally, just like they're supposed to. People have been taught to believe that struggle equals progress. That if you're not exhausted, if you're not constantly pushing, if you're not fighting for every inch, then you're not doing enough. But that's not true. Struggle for the sake of struggle doesn't guarantee anything. It just wears you down. It makes you think that suffering is the price of success, when in reality, suffering without purpose is just wasted energy. There's a difference between effort and force. Effort means showing up, being consistent, putting in the work. Force means trying to control everything, refusing to step back, pushing when things aren't moving for a reason. People confuse the two. They think that because they're struggling, they must be making progress. But struggling in the wrong direction, struggling for something that isn't meant to be, struggling when the signs are telling you to shift, that's not progress. That's resistance. Think about it like this. If you're climbing a mountain and you keep slipping no matter how hard you try, maybe you're on the wrong path. Maybe you're forcing yourself up a cliff when there's a better route just a few feet away. But instead of looking around, you keep pushing. You keep struggling. You keep telling yourself that if you just try harder, if you just suffer more, you'll get there. But what if you stepped back? What if you looked for a different way? What if you realized that struggle isn't always the answer? Successful people understand this. They don't waste time forcing things that aren't working. They know the difference between persistence and unnecessary struggle. When something isn't moving, they ask why. They adjust. They pivot. They step back and see the bigger picture. They don't mistake struggle for progress. They know that real progress comes from smart effort, not just relentless pushing. If you find yourself constantly battling, constantly frustrated, constantly drained, take a step back. Ask yourself if you're truly moving forward or just exhausting yourself in place. Because the truth is, success isn't about how much you struggle, it's about how well you move. And sometimes the smartest move you can make is to stop forcing and start flowing in the right direction. People spend so much time chasing success, chasing recognition, chasing people, opportunities, moments. Like if they just run fast enough, work hard enough, force it enough, they'll finally catch what they're after. But chasing doesn't guarantee anything. Chasing doesn't mean you're moving in the right direction. Sometimes it just means you're running after things that aren't meant for you. Look at the most successful people, the ones who seem to have everything come to them effortlessly. It's not because they're lucky. It's not because they don't work. It's because they attract. They don't spend all their energy chasing. No, they focus on becoming. They focus on building themselves into the kind of person who naturally draws the right things, the right people, the right opportunities. They don't have to beg for a seat at the table because they've already done the work to be the kind of person that belongs there. Think about a magnet. A magnet doesn't chase metal. It simply is what it is, and because of that, the metal comes to it. That's how attraction works. When you focus on becoming great at what you do, when you focus on sharpening your skills, on building yourself up, on walking with confidence and purpose, you don't have to run after things. The right things will come to you because you're ready for them. The problem is too many people are too busy chasing to focus on becoming. They're running after opportunities instead of preparing for them. They're desperate for success instead of becoming the kind of person who naturally succeeds. But the truth is, if you have to beg for something, if you have to force it, if you have to chase it down and hold on for dear life, it was never really yours to begin with. What's truly meant for you won't require you to lose yourself trying to get it. That doesn't mean you don't work. That doesn't mean you don't show up every day and give your best. But it means you don't waste your energy chasing things that don't fit. You don't lower yourself to be accepted. You don't force relationships, jobs, or opportunities that don't align with who you truly are. Instead, you become, you grow, you improve. And when you do that, when you become the kind of person who's truly ready for success, you don't have to chase it. It finds you. Hey, opportunities don't just appear out of nowhere. They come to those who are ready for them. A lot of people spend their time wishing for a big break, hoping for a moment that will change everything. But when that moment comes, when the opportunity finally knocks, they're not prepared. They haven't put in the work. They haven't sharpened their skills. And because of that, they either miss it, fumble it, or waste it. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. Think about an athlete training for the Olympics. They don't wake up one day and suddenly become great. They put in years of work so that when they finally get the chance to compete, they don't have to think. They don't have to force it. Their body knows what to do because they've prepared for this moment long before it ever arrived. Success works the same way. You don't wait for the opportunity and then get ready. You stay ready. You work on your craft. You build your discipline. You sharpen your mindset. So when the door finally opens, you can walk through it with confidence. Because if you're not prepared, that opportunity isn't a blessing. It's pressure. And pressure will expose you if you haven't done the work. People spend so much time trying to chase opportunities instead of becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts them. They focus on getting noticed instead of getting better. But when you prepare, when you stay consistent, when you commit to growth, you don't have to chase every opportunity. You'll have choices. You won't have to take just anything that comes your way because you'll know you've earned the right to wait for what truly fits. Preparation is about patience. It's about trusting that your work will pay off even when you don't see immediate results. It's about understanding that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Too many people quit because they think the work isn't leading anywhere. But the truth is, every step, every rep, every lesson, it's all building you into the person you need to be. And when the opportunity finally comes, you won't just be lucky, you'll be ready. Most people think success is about control. They think if they can just plan every step, force every outcome, push through every obstacle, then everything will work out exactly how they want. But control is an illusion. No matter how hard you try, you can't control everything. You can't force timing. You can't make the wrong thing right just because you want it to be. And the harder you try to control everything, the more frustrated you'll become. The real key isn't control, it's trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your preparation, trust in the process. That doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It means doing the work, putting in the effort, staying consistent, and then allowing life to unfold the way it's meant to. It means understanding that when something isn't working, when something feels forced, when doors keep closing, maybe it's not rejection, maybe it's redirection, maybe you're being pushed towards something better, something bigger, something that actually aligns with who you are. A lot of people waste years of their lives fighting against the natural flow of things. They stay in jobs that drain them, relationships that hold them back, mindsets that keep them stuck, all because they're afraid to let go. They think if they stop trying so hard, they'll lose everything. But the truth is, when you let go of what's not meant for you, you make space for what is. When you stop forcing, you start allowing. And when you allow, you move with more confidence, more ease, more purpose. That's what it means to become. You don't become successful by controlling every outcome. You become successful by growing into the kind of person who's ready for what they want. You stop chasing and start preparing. You stop begging and start believing. You stop doubting and start moving with the confidence that everything you need is already on its way. When you do the work, when you trust the process, when you believe in your own growth, you don't have to force anything. The right opportunities, the right people, the right moments, they come. Not because you begged for them, not because you pushed so hard you lost yourself, but because you were ready, because you became the person who didn't need to chase, didn't need to force, just needed to step into what was already waiting.
At some point, you have to ask yourself, are you moving with purpose or are you just pushing because you don't know how to stop? Are you grinding because it's getting you somewhere or because you're afraid that if you don't, everything will fall apart? There's a difference between working hard and wearing yourself down. There's a difference between effort and struggle, between patience and desperation, between persistence and force. Look at the way you move through life. Look at the energy you carry. Are you calm, focused, trusting the process, or are you exhausted, frustrated, chasing after things that seem to keep running from you? Because the truth is, the more you chase, the more things run. The more you force, the more resistance you create, the more you fight to control everything, the more you feel like you're losing control. But when you stop trying so hard, when you trust, when you prepare, when you align yourself with where you're meant to be, things shift, doors open, people show up, Opportunities find you, not because you begged for them, not because you forced them, but because you became ready for them. That's the difference between those who struggle endlessly and those who succeed with ease. It's not about luck. It's not about shortcuts. It's about knowing when to push and when to step back. It's about understanding that you don't have to fight for what's already meant for you. The right things won't require you to break yourself to have them. Yes, they'll require effort. Yes, they'll require patience. Yes, they'll require work, but they won't require desperation. So if you're out there forcing, chasing, pushing to exhaustion, take a breath, step back, ask yourself, is this really the way? Or are you just afraid to trust that maybe, just maybe, what's truly meant for you is already on its way? Because when you stop forcing, when you stop running in circles, when you stop believing that success only comes to those who suffer the most, you start to move differently. You start to move with confidence, with clarity, with purpose. And when you do that, when you trust, when you prepare, when you become, success doesn't just feel possible, it feels inevitable because it no longer depends on how hard you chase it. It depends on who you are when it arrives.